Hello, Luke. How are you doing?
I'm great, man. How are you? It's good to see you.
I'm doing okay. You too. Um, I guess if we could just start off recapping the individuals among the inside receivers slash tight ends, what the key developments have been, who have been your top performers, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think it's. I think so far it's been a. I think it's been a great camp for these guys. I've seen a lot of individual improvement. We spent a lot of time the last couple months sitting down with each guy and really trying to focus on what areas they need to improve at, and now just putting that on video and really as a unit, just attacking and playing faster all the time and trying to clean some things up, and at the same time learning a new offense. And really kind of seeing how they fit and being able to evaluate them as well. It's a very talented group. With if you take the slot receivers, I mean you've got guys that have quality experience. Miles Price played a lot as a freshman last year. He's got great change in direction. He can make a guy miss. He can do a lot of good things. Dalton Rigdon's been a guy over the years that can just flat out run by you and make big plays. He's an explosive guy. And, the guy that's having a great camp is McLean Mannix. McLean Mannix has been a huge improvement. He's kind of battled injuries. And I'm really proud of the kid. He's really busted his tail. He's done a great job with Drew Kruger and with Dave Scholes and just over the offseason and has really improved his game. The tight end group is really deep. Travis Kuntz, we expect Travis to be a really good football player this year, and really, the challenge for Travis, is to take it to the next level. He is the starter, he is the guy, and now go out and be consistent and perform like an all Big 12 guy. There's nothing he can't do. You could put a highlight tape of Travis Kuntz together from last year, and they could look as good as anybody. And the biggest challenge with him is just continue to play, consistently. And he's had a great camp. He's done a really good job, and he's really learning, the ins and outs of this offense. He spends a ton of time watching extra tape, and he's really invested, and you can really tell he's having a great camp. And then John Holcomb. I have not had too many true freshmen play for me that have just walked in and played valuable minutes and been as productive as John Holcomb has, and John did a nice job. John was a guy that was on special teams for us, and John is continuing to improve his game. It's hard to play tight end at 225 pounds like he played last fall in this league. That's a challenge, and it says a lot about him because he's a high motor guy. He comes to work every day, and he's kind of a blue-collar guy, and he's improved his game. And then you got some other guys that haven't had as much experience but are going to be good. Jason Lloyd's a junior college transfer we took at the end of last summer. He's in the mix there. Henry Teeter as well. And then I've got two new freshmen that I'm real excited about. Mason Tharp and Jed Castles are guys that really should be preparing for prom. They should be getting out of school at 2 o'clock every day and going to the lake and doing stuff like that. And they couldn't get to Texas Tech fast enough. Both those two guys graduated in December. They've been here since January. And we absolutely hit on those two. They're going to be really good. They come to work every day. They're doing a great job in the weight room, and they both play really hard. So I'm excited about this group, really, with the tight ends and the slots.
Go to Ryan next.
Hey, Coach, was curious, kind of elaborating on the tight ends. We've talked to you and obviously Coach Matt Wells about the tight ends just becoming more a part of the offense the last couple of years. But where do you see this year that can really take a step? You've mentioned the depth and whatnot, but why do you think this year can really be that breakout year for that group?
Well, I think I think we're going to be able to use these guys a little bit more. The one thing that Coach Cumbie has really harped on with the tight ends this spring is they've got to be able to make contested catches, meaning that these big guys aren't always going to stick a foot and separate and be wide open. You know, where you may have a slot, you may have an outside guy who can run a route, stick it, and then they can separate and be away from a guy. Well, these quarterbacks are starting, if they can trust the tight end that they just got their body between the defender and the ball and give them a chance to go make a contested catch, I think you're going to see more of that, you know, where it's, hey, give the big guy a chance and let him go up and just attack it and use those skills that God gave him, you know, let him be big and use those weapons. You know, we're you know, really trying to focus with the tight ends on, hey, you're 250, run like 250, look like 250, be scary out there, strike the fear of God and the safety that's trying to play man coverage on you and go attack these guys and play to your strengths. I think that's the biggest thing.
I was also curious with the quarterback battle with so many guys obviously going for that position, where do the tight ends really factor in as far as, you know, being a part of this, how each guy works with them? And do you see that as a factor in that race?
Sure. You know, I think that, you know, as a quarterback, you know, the tight end needs to be a guy that you can count on, you know. I mean, you got a bunch of guys. These guys are competing, and I'll tell you what, it's fun to watch this quarterback battle right now. And sometimes it's hard for me to watch my own guys because these guys are so talented. They're fun to watch them spin it. And but you know, all these quarterbacks, the one thing that they're always going to do is they're going to find those guys they're comfortable with, you know. And when they get out there and maybe, you know, maybe they see man coverage. Well, at that point in time, it gets to, hey, who do I feel like, who's going to make a play for me, and who do I trust? And so that's one of the things that we're really trying to just drill in their heads is, hey, man, go make a play. And do that on video and do it over and over and over. And you be the guy that when the quarterback has options and it's man and he just says, I'm going to pick a guy and let it fly, hey, I want to be that guy. And so that's what practice is all about. You know, it's earning that trust.
Go to Brandon.
Hey, Coach, you brought up Jed and Mason, you know, 6'8", 6'7". What are your goals for them in the weight room? Just because, I mean, they're already, you know, freshmen, they're pretty big already. Yeah,
they've done a nice job. And, you know, obviously they've got the length already, right? You look at those two guys and obviously you see the height. Both of those two guys run. They run very well. They catch the ball very well. And they bend very well. And that's something that we saw in the evaluation process. And so if you can do all those things, I really trust Dave Scholes. You know, I've worked with Dave for 8 years now. And so what I just told you on the skill set of the tight end, if I can get that guy to Dave, great things happen. And so they're already starting to put on weight. They both have big frames that can carry the weight. And really, I'd like to get them to at least 240 at some point, and then kind of see where they go from there. I mean, as long as they keep their speed, they could be 255, 260 pounds. I've seen it before with Dave, and they're still as fast. And that'll be a lot of fun to watch. So I'm excited to see their development. And the thing those two young men do a really good job of is they trust us. And you can tell by how they work, and you can tell by how they turn it loose with trying to do things for the first time. I mean, it's hard to play tight end and go block a Big 12 defensive line for the first time. It's really hard. And those guys trust what we're telling them, and they throw their bodies out there. And it don't always look right, you know, but they've got a fight in them. And now I've got to coach them, and Dave's going to get them bigger. So I can't wait to see their development.
You know, last one for me, just with that group overall, how has their run blocking just kind of been, and how much are you emphasizing that early on?
Very good, very good. I think, you know, if you look at Travis Kuntz, I think the first thing you'd probably look, if you really watched him last year, you'd say, hey, this guy can be dominant. He can be dominant blocking, you know, a head-up defensive end in this league, and he's done it. And you know what? He's one of the few guys that I've been around that really feels comfortable with, you know, a 290-pound guy staring him in the face, trying to knock him backwards. Kuntz really likes that challenge, and he's done a good job with it. But being able to be better in space, blocking-wise too. We're going to get the ball on the perimeter, and that's been a huge focus this spring. It's something that we've gotten a ton better at, is blocking the perimeter, and that's with the slot receiver too. I mean, those slots, they go get after it. They're not afraid if we're going to run the football. They're going to go get nasty. They're going to go take a shot. If we got the ball on the edge, they're going to move their feet. They're going to fit up, and they're going to finish. And it's just it's really showing up to work with an attitude every day. And because if you don't have an edge and you don't want to play nasty, then it's going to be a tough day.
Finish with Don.
Luke, in the scrimmage and in team during practice, what all personnel groups have y'all looked at? And I guess kind of particularly as it pertains to the tight ends. Obviously y'all used 11 all the time the last couple of years, and Matt has talked about, liking it someday to be at 12 or even 13 like Iowa State does. What have y'all kind of done here these last few weeks?
We've done a little bit of everything. We've done a little bit of everything. We're still in 11 most of the time, and we could do 10 personnel, and we could take them off the field and play with 4 wides. We could do some 12, and we've done a decent amount of it with 2 tight ends. And shoot, I think I saw 3 of them out there today. We had a few things we played 3 of them. The neat thing with this offense with Coach Cumbie is it can go a lot of different directions. We're trying to figure out this spring who we are. We're trying to figure out who our best players are. We're trying to figure out who we need to get the ball to, what schemes are going to fit in the run game as well. So you've seen a pretty good mix of everything.
You mentioned at the top, Dalton Rigdon being a guy who can run past people. How much did it hurt y'all, middle of last season where y'all got so thin without him, and you got thin at inside receiver, period?
Yeah.
When about 3 of those guys got hurt at once.
We got really thin, and it hurt. We got thin, and I'll tell you what, a guy that stepped up was, Xavier White came in and would play a few snaps for us here and there, and did a nice job. And but Dalton Rigdon, when Dalton's hurt, he was hurt, we didn't just lose his speed. We lost his energy too. Dalton Rigdon's the kind of guy that walks into a room and immediately, people feed off of his enthusiasm. He's a fiery guy. Dalton loves playing the game, and he's fun to be around. And so you kind of, you'd go on the road and you kind of missed his juice. You really did. And so we had to have guys step up around him and do a nice job. But no, Dalton's got home run speed. And he can change a game for you, but it's also just his attitude and how he works every day.
Coach, how nice is it to have virtually your entire room full of guys back? When looking down the stats, I think 5 of the top 8 tacklers on the team last year were linebackers. How is that? What has that enabled you to do this spring versus what you might do in a spring when you have 3 new guys fighting for starting spots?
Well, one, as a coach, it's an awesome feeling to have them all back. It's also great because they're a great group of guys who have a great work ethic and are continuing to have a better understanding of what we're trying to do schematically. You never stop coaching them, whether they're 1-year starter, 2-year starter, 3-year starter. We're going to coach them every rep like it's their first rep. But it's great to have that experience back because it gives you confidence. But you keep on working them and you work them. All right, you're always striving for perfection. And with the veterans we have, it gives us that better opportunity.
If you had a spring MVP in your group, who has made the best case for themselves so far?
Well, I don't like to single out one guy, but a guy that's really stepping up, continues to step up is Colin Schooler. He's taking his game to a new level. I look at Krishan Merriweather is becoming a better instinctive player. I'm pleased with Brandon Randall's improvement from last year. I think he's taken his game to another level. In each and every guy has improved certain individual techniques. Now we got to continue to refine their game.
Go to Ryan.
Hey, Coach, you and the guys in general, how much of a responsibility do you feel to lead the defense this year and just kind of be the one that, leads the way for this Tech defense to be locked down and shut down just as a linebacker group?
Well, I think we take great pride in it. I think it is when you talk about linebackers, it's the heart of the defense. It's a unit that has to have great communication with not only the front but the back. We take great pride in being the leaders of our defense. I think that it all starts with the linebacker position, and you try to put that type of pride in the position.
Go to Brandon.
Hey, Coach, just kind of noticed him at practice, but can you talk to us about Kosai Eldridge a little bit? I know you have Rico out, and you may be shuffling some guys, but just kind of what you've seen from him so far.
Well, Kosai, he's playing our spur right now, but Kosai is really a unique individual because he's a guy that could wear a lot of hats defensively. He's a guy that we'll count on rundowns in our base defense and also moving back to an inside position on third down. So he's a great situational player that has a lot of athletic ability and he can run. We're able to do a lot of different things with him. He's a unique player.
I know he's missing practice too, but Josiah Pierre, just kind of what you saw from him, on the portal. And
yeah, he's we were all very excited about him, his progress. He picks up things very well. It's a shame that he had hurt his foot a little bit, but he's going to be fine. He'll be fine, and he'll pick up right where he left off, I'm sure. He loves the game. He plays hard. He is instinctive. He's big. He's athletic, and he can run.
Go to Don to finish.
We've talked a lot about all those veteran guys and seniors and whatnot. I was curious maybe about the development of some of the young linebackers, guys like Derek Lewis or Bryce Robinson.
Well, let me start with Ty Matthews. Okay.
Ty Matthews.
Yeah, he's another guy that I think he's made the biggest step of the younger guys. Very pleased with his progress. He's becoming very instinctive. Starting to have a very good understanding of what we're trying to do defensively. He's probably taken the biggest step of the young guys. And Bryce Robinson was starting to make a little bit of a move. So we continue to work with Derek Lewis and try to get him better each and every day. So, the younger guys have got to step up, but probably the guy who's made the biggest strides right now, in no question in my mind, is Ty Matthews.
Which position do you have him at? Where do you kind of project him at?
He's at our middle linebacker. He's the Mike.
So in middle you have Merriweather, Matthews.
I have Krishan Merriweather, Ty Matthews, and I also have, and I should mention him because he may be the most improved. I look at him as a veteran, but he seems like he's been around, but he's not. Who's playing very well is Pat Curley. He's taken a new step and having the best spring, much better than he was last year. He's playing a lot better than he did last season. He was a guy that we would continue to get better on special teams last year, and he's doing a lot of nice things. And we have him playing two positions. He's playing the middle linebacker and our Sam linebacker who plays to the field. But Pat Curley is I'm really proud of him and the things that he's done, how he stepped up his game, his attitude, the type of effort that he's playing with, and he's doing a lot of great things.
Do you have Rippon behind Colin?
Well, I got Morgenstern working there. Like I say earlier, we had Kosai working there too, but kind of kept him outside right now, and then he'll get back into some situational things right now. But Morgenstern is right now backing up Curley.
What do you?
Excuse me. I have Morgenstern. I'm sorry. I got Morgenstern and Pat Curley backing up Schooler.
Yep. What role do envision for Rico this coming season when he gets back on the field?
Well, Rico's a special individual. He'll play a couple positions for us. We definitely depend on his leadership. He'll be playing probably both the Mike and the Will right now as we look at it. And, we're going to take it one day at a time with him. We want to make sure he is right. His attitude has been unbelievable. He's like, this spring, he's like having another coach on the field. But Rico's able to do a lot of things for us. He's a very good football player. He's very instinctive. He'll have great things ahead of him.
Hey, Colin. So we talked to Coach Patterson a couple weeks ago, and he mentioned that during this offseason, he thought you came in and you just trimmed up, got in better shape. What was your thought process with that? What have you been doing to get to where you are right now?
Yeah, I mean, it's the off season right now, so it's the time to take care of your body and get it ready for next year. And there's a lot of resources here and a different coaching staff, so my body's going to react differently to it than I've had in the past. But I would agree with him. I've trimmed down a little bit, but it's all about getting better in the off season and looking the par for next season.
What are your goals as a player from what you did last year to build on? Where do you want to see that improvement? Where are you really, focusing on right now with, the season's still months away, but what are you focusing on?
I'm just focusing on getting better as an overall player in every aspect. I think as a defense, we need to get better too, so we're focusing on that. But the biggest thing I want to see is the win column change. And I think every person on our team would agree with that.
And lastly, we were talking to Coach Cosgrove about just the importance of the linebackers to this defense. You now having a year under your belt and whatnot, how much do you see your role as a leader and just the importance to both the linebacking core, but also this defense as a whole?
Yeah, I think it's huge, especially for our whole unit. We have 5 linebackers coming back with game time experience, technically 6, but we have a lot of guys coming back that have experience. With myself, I've had 4 seasons of experience, which is kind of a unique situation in college football. But 4 full seasons, so I have a lot of experience through that. So I can kind of give tips to some of the younger guys and some of the guys who haven't had as many hits and bruises throughout playing multiple seasons back to back as I have. So that's one way that we contribute to our defense and team, because a lot of us play special teams too, in that leadership role.
Go to Brandon.
Hey, Colin, just curious. I saw Jordan Brooks was in town and stuff. Did you have any time to catch up with him, and did he give you any advice about maybe getting to the next level, or shared any experiences that he saw his rookie year?
Yeah, I ran into the hallway yesterday. Funny you mentioned that. Yesterday after the pro day, and he was in our meeting room yesterday watching film with us too. So it was cool to pick his brain a little bit and get his point of view of how to practice and what to look for and what the league demands. So it was really cool to get that information.
All right, we'll finish with Don.
Colin, you're mentioning kind of trimming up or whatnot. Considering that you came from another Power 5 program, coming into a new program, obviously we've talked a whole bunch about what you've done differently or the same on the football field. What did you do differently in winter conditioning with Coach Scholes that might have been possibly new for you? Any new type of approaches in terms of strength or conditioning?
The lifting's a little bit different than what I'm accustomed to, but I think the biggest thing was just the nutrition side of it and investing more in my body than I have before in the past. When I was at Arizona, I was 18, 19 years old, and I wasn't making the best nutrition decisions that I could be making for my body. And now that I'm just a little bit older and I've been through the ring a couple times, I learned what to do and what not to do and what works with my body and what doesn't. So I would say that the nutrition aspect and the supplements is the biggest part of it.
What's the most difficult part in terms of, I don't know, are there foods that you really like or love and you've had to give up or cut back on, or have you handled it from that standpoint?
I've cut off a lot of, sweets and just foods that, a lot of carbs and calories and fats in them. I'm not really too picky with food, so if I'm in that mindset to where if it's good for me, I'll eat it. I don't really care what it tastes like, but there are certain meals that you can prepare that are good for you and taste good. You just have to kind of experiment and learn how to do it. So I'm still doing that, but as long as I know it's good for me, I'll take it and eat it.
That made me think of something else with the nutrition center and the nutritionist that I've heard Kirby and other folks refer to. Having a nutritionist who can show you how to prepare meals. How much before you came here? How much did you cook for yourself? And has that changed for you? Or do you cook more nutritious stuff when you're at home?
Yeah, I for sure cook more now than I have before in the past. I have cooked before in the past, but I would say I've taken it, meal planning now and taken it more seriously at that point. And I've learned along the way that it also is cheaper, to meal plan and to cook at home. So it's just a double whammy for me. It's a no-brainer.
Is your weight still about the same, or are you down? Or are you down a few pounds?
Yeah, my weight's about the same. I'm still floating around 230.
Yeah.
What?
Did you get to go home to California during the off season?
I did, yeah. I got to spend a couple weeks home and spend the holiday home, and I know my parents love that, but I didn't. So I don't think any of these players on this team want to be in that same situation that we were last year. And like I said, it's good to be with my family and everything, but it's still bowl season, so we want to be in one of those.
Before you came here, there was a lot of discussion about, I guess, you and your brother obviously kind of just trying to make that decision at the same time. When you decided to stay here for another year, did you and your brother talk much during that time about what he was going to do as well as what you were going to do, or did y'all make that choice independently of each other?
Yeah, we for sure made it independently. Just like the decision of what school we were going to go to when we left Arizona, it was the same situation to where we have to do what's best for us. And unfortunately, when we were choosing schools, we chose different schools that benefited us. But it happened to be that coming back would benefit us both more than it would if we were trying to leave. So we did talk and support each other and think out loud and think on it and pray. But we both decided to come back for a little bit different reasons. But it was an independent choice, and we for sure supported each other throughout it.
You mentioned a moment ago that the biggest thing that you want to achieve is simply a winning record. How much does that grate on you, considering that, I guess, at the U of A, the program there has kind of gone down the same path as Texas Tech has. Have good teams, but kind of can't get over the hump. How much has that, the competitor that you are, how much has that bothered you, having to kind of go through that the last 4 or 5 years?
Yeah, it's very frustrating. My freshman year making a bowl game at Arizona, I thought, we can do this every single year. And then to go, 3 straight years not making a bowl game is very frustrating because we all put a lot of time and effort in the off season. And football is just one of those sports where you only get 12 chances to prove how good you are. And when you get to a season and you lose a game by one possession and you look back about how many different plays that were 50-50 could go either way, and I know we hate talking about it, but how close we were, and we don't want to just be close. And a lot of hungry players are here, and we're all determined to get better and to be on the winning side and be in that cheering locker room. And I think that we've taken huge strides in that this year.
You said you went to a bowl game your freshman year at U of A. What kind of bowl gear did you get, or what bowl did you guys go to, and what was that trip like?
So it's not even one anymore, but it was the Foster Farms Bowl up in Levi Stadium. They call it the Red Box Bowl now. Yeah, so we went up there, and it was a really cool trip. We got to tour Alcatraz and kind of explore San Francisco a little bit. Got some gear, like some clothes, a watch. I remember a nice watch, a couple gift cards, and things like that. but that shouldn't be motivation for us to make a bowl game. It was nice, but I think that being in a bowl game holds more meaning than the gifts you get from it.